Friends, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to develop a simple application where we can submit our documents. Okay, so let me give you a quick tutorial. We'll be using OpenAI GPT, and you paste your document content and submit. Then you get the history of it. So you see we have the history saved to our local storage. Okay, so we can delete and copy as well, delete, then submit again. Okay, we get a response again. Okay, so now to get started, just type mpx create react app and hit enter. Okay, let's wait for it to finish. Okay, I just created it in the same directory, that's why I used /. Okay, now let's go to Tailwind CSS. We'll be using Tailwind CSS and click on get started. Okay, so this is the installation guide. You copy, install Tailwind CSS. Okay, still installing. Okay, so done installing. Now paste this command and hit enter and copy the next command. Okay, paste that one also. And now we get the Tailwind config file. Okay, let's check. Now say you should copy content, okay, and add it to the configuration file. So in there we'll place it with this content. Okay, then what again, we copy this and add it to our CSS file. Okay, so we add it to index.css file here. Okay, you can leave this default configuration or delete them. Okay, let us delete the files we will not have need of. Okay, select them and just delete it. Let's delete the logo as well. Okay, and just do some cleanup. So we don't have web vitals, and we'll remove this. Okay, it's okay. Go here. These two files are not there, we delete it, and you can remove the content in here as well. Okay, now let us run our app and see. So let's put the editor and the browser side by side. Okay, so now let's try to see if our Tailwind is working. Let's copy this and paste it here and see, save it. Okay, it's working. Okay, it's working. Okay, so now we can remove it. So if you look at the app, so we have this top bar here, and we have the main title, then the input and the okay. So now let's go. So we'll start. I have my assets I would like to bring. Okay, so you can find the code in the GitHub link, and in there you can find the assets. Okay, so we give a width of full. The background color of this color that I prepared. Okay, then give a height. Let's give a height of full as well. Okay, then we want to give a minimum height of 100 VH. Okay, then we give padding Y, which is top and bottom of 4. Then padding X also 4. Then on medium screen we want the padding X to be 20. Oh, it should be in the single quote. Okay, so bring the quote. Okay, good. Now let's continue. Okay, so we move to the top part, put a div, and let's give it a class of width to be full. Okay, so let's come to put another div, then in there we'll put the header of h3 and write summary, then under it, okay, so under it we'll put an anchor tag. In it we'll use an image tag. Okay, let's import the image, that's the YouTube icon, from okay, so it's ./assets/youtube.png. okay, so we'll just pass it to the source as YouTube. Okay, then give a class of class name of width 10 and height of 10. I want it to be rounded, so we see rounded rounded LG. I want it to be clickable, so we give the cursor of pointer. Okay, so now let's start this div by saying that class name, we want it to be the flex row. We want to justify them to space between. I want to center the item to center. We want the item to be in center. Okay, let us give a width of full and a height of 10, as well as a pattern X left and right 5, and on extra large screen we want to give a pattern X of 40. Okay, so now let's start the header type. Okay, so we'll say cursor to be pointer so that we're clickable. We want to give a text of 3 XL, and the font should be bold, as well as the text color should be this color. You can use any color that you want. Okay, let us start the anchor tag. I'll put my link to my YouTube channel, then give the target of blank. You can put any link that you want there. Okay, so no referral. Okay, it's working. Okay, good. So I noticed the background is not working. Let us see what is the problem. Okay, so I forgot to put the square bracket. Okay, now it's working fine. Let's continue. Okay, so we put a div. Now we come to the main title. We put H1. This is summarizer width. Should be H1. So summarizer, then I do break it. So I'm going to break it to the next line, so I give a break tag, then put a span tag, then say OpenAI GPT. Okay, so now let's style it. Let's bring the paragraph tag also with the description. Put in the P tag by saying, just copy what I have here and put it. Okay, just copy and paste it here. Okay, you can type this or put anything you want. Okay, let's style it. We'll give it a flex column. Also, we want the item should be in center, and justify also to center. Let's give a margin top of 4 and a pattern of 4 as well. So let's start the main title, H1, it's a class name. The text should be 3XL, and we want the text to be white. The text should be centered. We want to give some line height of 10. Okay, it's coming up fine. Then font, okay, it should be this. So font semi-bold. Okay, let me make it small. Okay, the font should be semi-bold. Okay, now let's start this button. Okay, so class, give the text of 5 pixel. Then we give a font to be bold, then test color of this color. Okay, now let us start this will be the margin top of 5, then the text should be SL, then the text color should be gray 600. Now small devices, we want the text should be XL. Let's give the text to be centered, and the max width of the text should be 2XL. Okay, so I think 500 will be pretty okay. So this is pretty fine. Okay, so believe me, we are done with the top part. Now let us work on the text area. So put a div, then put test area. Okay, test area. Okay, let us start this. Give the class flex, and say flex column, and width should be full, and the item center, justify also to center, and we see margin top to 5. Let us start the text area and give the placeholder of paste doc content here. Okay, then we want it to have a row of six rows, so 6 rows. Now let's start it. I give the class name, says flex. We'll give it a block and give the full width of full. On medium devices, we want the width to be 650 pixel. Okay, now let us give rounded its border radius of MD. Okay, so if you are new to Tailwind, you can just go to their documentation and search for it. For instance, W-full, and it tells you that it talks about the width. Okay, so this will give the margin border radius. Okay, let us also give border, then the border color to be this color. Okay, let us also give a background color of 800, and give a pattern to, and the text to be small. We'll give a shadow of LG, font to be medium, and text to be white. Okay, let us also on focus, let us give the border color to gray, and we set the outline to none. Working. Now let us work on the button. Okay, so we say button, and put the name, submit, style it. I've given a class name, margin top 5. Background color of blue 500, and we want to give pattern X5 and pattern Y2. Okay, let us give text color of white, and the text should be MD medium, and the font should be semi-bold. Okay, let's give use the cursor pointer. Okay. Let's give rounded to medium to have some border radius of the pattern. Okay, so now we are done. So how do we get the content of our test area? We will have to use the onChange event. So let us get a use state for that. To say cons value and set value. Go to use state and make sure it's imported at the top. At the beginning we set it to now. Okay, so let us come. Okay, so let's talk about this. Good. Okay, so on the onChange event, we'll just get the event and set the set value to the value we're getting from the input or test area. Okay, so now we have the value now. Okay, so now before we can submit it, we need to get our key. So just go to platform.openai.com, sign in if you have an account, or sign up or sign in with my Google account. Okay, so when we come, just click on the profile, view API key. So if you don't have an API key, you create one. When you create one, make sure you copy it, else you will not see it again. Okay, so I have one, I will use it. You go to the usage, you'll be given $5 for trial. Okay, so I have been using mine. Okay, so now that you have the key, create an environment variable .env and just write react _app OpenAI, that's key, and just paste it. Don't forget to restart your server when you create an environment variable. Okay, so now the submit function. So on submit, then we'll just accept the event and say you can just console log the value to see. You can console log it to see and just put it and submit. Okay, so let's continue. So to prevent it from reloading, we'll just say event.prevent default. Okay. Now we have to set some request options. So say request options equal to, we need the method, and the method will be a post method, and we need some headers. So the headers will set a content type to application/JSON, and we have the authorization. It should be yes, authorization to bearer. Then we attach our key to resources string, then process .env the name of the environment variable. That is my React _app _OpenAI _key. Okay, let's continue. So the body will be the JSON. Okay, then we'll pass the prompt as the value that we're getting from the test area. Okay, then we'll just add this new line and add a piece of code. This will add this to it. Okay, so this is coming from the documentation. So we just go to example, search for summarization. yes, and we just add this piece of code. Then the model will know we want a summary of the test. Okay, so it's nothing new. Okay, let's continue. Then we'll set the temperature to 0.1. Then also set the max token, so you can play around with the max token and see it better. So I will do this max.floor, then see the value, the test length divided by 2. Okay, so you can play around it. You can change it to any value and see it. Okay, so I will copy the rest of the parameters and paste. Okay, so these parameters in here. Okay, and they are all coming from the documentation. Here they are here. Okay, so now we are done. Let us continue. So we'll use fetch. So we'll say fetch, then we'll pass the API URL. Okay, so I'll copy my URL from here. Okay, so just go to api.openai.com, and we'll use the test DaVinci model. Okay, then we'll pass our request options to it. Now, since this is a promise, it will get change it with a .then function, then get a response. Okay, and make sure that the response is in JSON format. Okay, so now when the response is in JSON, we will now get the actual response, which is, you say, get it as DT, and let us try to console log it and see what we are getting from it. So DT. Okay, let's try it and see. I'll paste my content here, submit, and now we get this. So we get many things, and we have object, so in the choices, the first object, that's where we get the test, and the test is the summary. Okay, so now we can create a variable, response test, then yes, get the response to it. The summary is in choices, and the first, so in the 0 and test. Okay, so now we'll create a use state to hold the value. Okay, so let's say cons data, so use state, so let's say data set data to use states, and at the beginning we set it to now. Okay, so now we can pass it to it and say set data to test. Okay, we can console log the test, the data, and see. Just click on submit. Good. So now it's coming. So now when we click on submit, we don't see anything. So we want to improve our user experience by showing some message. So we create a variable use state, is that submitting, and set submitting. Again, we set it to false. So when we click on submit, we set it to true. And when we are done, we will set it to false. Okay. So I'll copy it. Okay, let us catch the errors here as well. If there be error, we catch it, then we just console log it. So we'll set it to false here, and also console log the error. And when there are no errors and we get the response, we set it to false as well. Okay, so now let us do optional rendering here. So we have to make sure that the user has actually inputted value into the test area. So if the length is greater than 0, then we'll also check if it's submitting or not. We'll check if submitting is true or not. Okay, so if submitting is true, we'll just show the user to wait. Else, if it is not true, we'll just show the button. Okay, we'll make sure that the user actually has the value before we submit it. Okay, so now let us style, yes, the message, say text medium, and the text color should be this color. Okay, we'll give it a margin top of 5 as well. Okay, so now done. Now let us show our history. If we submit it and get a history, let us show it. Okay, so we'll say that if the data actually exists, then we will show this history part. Okay, so if the length is greater than 0, then we'll show this summary history. Okay, let's style it by giving a class of width full and margin top of 10, and flex should be column, and the gap should be 5, as well as we want to give it a shadow of MD. Then let us give items to center and justify also to center. Okay, so now let us wrap this around with a React fragment and show the actual card. Okay, so we'll map over the data, get individual data with their index, then we immediately return a div with the text in a paragraph tag. Okay, so now let us submit it and see so that we can be working it. Okay, so we have it here. Now let us style it. Let us style this one. Okay, I realize I did not change the value to false, so submitting is still waiting. Okay, so let's change it to false. Okay, to make sure you correct it. Okay, so now let us work on this. Give it a class of test to be white. Then we give it a font of semi-bold. Then we give a test of LG. Okay, pretty fine. Now let us start this div. We want to give it a key of the index, and we give it a class name. We'll say the max width should be 2XL. We give the background color of this color, 800. Then we give a padding of 3, rounded to be MD. Okay, it's coming out fine. Now let us work on the paragraph tag class. Let us give class name and say test to gray 500. Okay, and we give a test to be LG. I think 400 would be better. Okay, so 400 is okay. Okay, so now we are just done like that. So now we have it here. Okay, so now let us work on the copy and the delete function. We say copy. Okay, now let's wrap it around in a div. So div, then copy and delete also in a let's make it a span tag. Okay, then we put the image tag in it. Let's import the delete icon. So delete from the same asset folder, delete.png. Okay, we pass it to the source, delete, and let's style it a width of 6 and a height of 6. Okay, let's start a div by making it flex and gap of 5 and the items to center. Then we justify it to the right, that is end. Okay, so now it's fine. Okay, let us start the copy. We give a test of 500 and let's give it a font of semi-bold. Okay, and the cursor of pointer to be clickable. Okay, let's also give a margin top to the div. Okay, now let's start the delete button. Is cursor pointer. Okay, so now fine. So now if we reload it, you see that our history is gone. So to prevent that, we'll save the items to our local storage. So we'll come here, and instead of just passing it to the state variable, we will save it to the local storage. Say local storage dot set item. Then we give a key of summary. Then we pass the data as JSON stringify, and pass in the value. Okay, so if we do it like this, the current summary will override all data. So we'll have to spread the data first, then add the new one to it. Okay, so now remove this. Now we want to get a function that will fetch it from the local storage. So okay, we'll call it handle fetch local storage. Okay, now let's create a function. Receive name cons and fetch local storage. Then we'll say cons result equal to local storage dot get item. Then we pass the key, which is summary here. Summary. Okay. Then now we'll pass the result to the data. Okay, so we'll pass the set data to JSON.pass, then result. Okay. So now when we load the page, if we have history, we want to. Okay, let us reverse it first and make sure we get the recent record first. So we are reversing it. Okay. Now let's get a use effect to fetch the record if only we have some when we load the page. So say use effect, make sure it's also imported, and we call in the fetch storage, local storage function. Okay, so let's make sure that the data actually exists before we try to spread it. So we'll check the length. If it exists, we spread it. If it doesn't, then we just save only the text we are getting to the local storage. Okay, good. So now we are just done like that. Let us try it. So I have it. Let me check. Okay, and send it, and boom, we have it here. Okay, we can try again and see. Okay, now we're getting the second record as well. Okay, so now let us work on the delete and the copy function. So we say on click says that handle delete, then we pass the text we want to delete. Okay, so here also we say on click handle copy. Okay, now we also want to show some message when the user click on the copy, so we'll use a variable, state variable says that this is copy, it's copy. If it's true, we just show copied, else we'll show copy. Okay, so now let us create this variable and functions. So once this copy, set this copy, set it to false at the beginning. Okay, now we create. So I have this function I copied from Stack Overflow, so you can check it out. So we say handle copy, then we just call copy text to clipboard function. So copy text to clipboard, then we just get the text we want to copy. Okay, so let's get the text here. Then when it's successful, we just want to change the text to copy it. So we say we have a callback function, then set the is copy to true. Then after some seconds we set a timeout. After some seconds, 1500 milliseconds. After some milliseconds we change it. Okay, so change it back to false. So 1500. Okay, it should be okay. So we have, let's catch error and see. Error should console log the error, log error. It's small. Okay, this one. Now this should be false, small letter, false one. Okay. We still have an error. Where is it coming from? Okay, console log. Okay, so console.log. Okay, so now let us create the handle delete function. Cons handle delete, and we accept the text we want to delete, and we just use filter function. So it says cons filter is equal to data dot filter. Then we just filter the ones we want. So we see each item not equal to the one we want. So we just get it and remove this from it. And now we save it to the local storage again. So let us pass it to the data first before we save it. So we say local storage dot set item. Then we say summary. Then JSON stringify. Then filtered. Okay, so now we are done just like that. So now we can copy and we can delete as well. Okay, so basically we are done with it. You can just submit and you see we copy, it's working, we delete, it's also working. Okay, so thanks for watching. Now if you want to know how we can use submit documents, subscribe and leave a comment and we'll work on that too. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.